And right away, it's time to hear from the coach. It's brought to you by Shamrock Office Solutions, proud partner of St. Mary's Athletics. Boy, that second half, I mean, there was a stretch of 10 straight field goals. You made 10 straight field goals, and you started that second half 15 of 17. I mean, your club executed its offense really, really well tonight. And how much of that was taking confidence away from the first half and just really being in a rhythm? I mean,
oh, yeah, no doubt the rhythm is a big part of the game. It's certainly a big part of the offensive game. And, we really made emphasis at halftime about coming out and winning the first 4 minutes and being really controlled with the ball. The only way you can, well, not the only way, the way they will get back into it if we either take bad shots or we turn it over and they get run-out layups or threes. And just being able to control the tempo. Sometimes you do that and you don't make shots, but tonight we made shots and it was coming from everywhere. I mean, obviously Jock did a great job at the start of the half, and Tanner came on and banked some threes, and Emmett made a couple, and pretty much everything they threw at us. They tried to go 1-3-1. They started going 1-3-1 and then flipping back to a man halfway through the possession. And I thought our guys did a really nice job of first of all seeing that and then not panicking and just execute. Okay, this is what they're in. This is what we want to do. It certainly helps when you've got two really good point guards out there. Yeah,
and I mean, you said it. Joe Rahan just put on a performance tonight that was, I mean, tough as nails. Yeah. I mean, we compare him a lot to Matthew Delvedova. I think it's about time we give Joe his own category there because he comes off a knee injury, and there's plenty of talk, last night about, maybe Joe Rahan's not 100%, but he had a couple of drives where he just goes right into the teeth of the defense.
Yeah, no, he does. He's not going to back down for anyone. He's going to play, whether he's injured, and that, to be honest, I think he's right. I think he's right now. I think that game will really help him get over any lingering thoughts that maybe there could be something wrong there. I know he got another knock on it there at one stage, but then this time of year, everyone's got a nick or two. Everyone's hurt, and I think that one of the things I keep saying to him, you can't show pain. If you show pain, then the opposition sees that, and there's a little bit of a crack there they can get in, and you might be hurting. Well, that's too bad. Don't let the other team know about it.
Jock got it going early and often tonight, and again early and often again in the second half. 22 points and 10 rebounds. He was dominant tonight.
He was dominant. I thought he did a fantastic job, and he's learnt from each matchup with Mika, and his defensive performance tonight. And Mika ended up with points, but most of them came late. I'm not sure what he had at halftime, maybe two. I think he hit a jump shot. Yeah.
One of five.
One of five. He just hit the jump shot, but he has, and that's one of the. It's one of the skills of learning how to be professional, and not in the sense of getting paid, but professional about the way you go about your work. How can you make adjustments game to game against the person that you're going to see a couple of times in a year? Because good teams like this and good players like that, you're going to see them regularly at the business end of the season. And I think Jock really showed some maturity tonight about how he defended Mika.
Nick Emery was 0 of 7 from the floor. I mean, Emmett Nar's playing the best basketball he's played all season long. He had the 11 assists last night against Portland. He had the 11 assists tonight. And again, I mean, he has his speed back now, and he looks like that all-league guard that we saw last year.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, and I think that's a big part of just the confidence of knowing that his knee is better. And he spent so much time off over the off season where he literally couldn't do anything, and that's it wears at you and it puts seeds of doubt in your mind. But when you have a couple of good games in a row and you can go by people with speed and then make good decisions on the end of them, as you said, I think 11 assists and 2 turnovers. I mean, you can't really say too much more. Hit 3 threes, and he really controlled the game. As I said, it's such a luxury having 2-point guards. As the person that's charged with running the offense, I mean, you can almost let those two guys go and say, do whatever you want. We know and we trust that you guys will make good decisions.
What did you see one-on-one tonight with Mika? Because, he's scored in double figures in every game this season, but you really frustrated him, it looked like. Like you said, you forced him into shots that he didn't want to take. He was 5 of 13 from the floor. I mean, and he had 6 turnovers. And a lot of those were travels. I mean, just a lot of things that came from BYU tonight were just, and it was really the last 3 quarters of the game, just frustration.
Well, really for him, and talking to Jock and to Jordan Hunter and guys that are going to guard him, it's just about staying down and staying low and not letting him get that angle. You get an angle when he takes off, when he runs or shoots that running hook shot, or at the end of his moves when he's got the shot fake and step through, and people get anxious and they rise up and try and block shots is really the biggest issue. Stay down. Don't give him an angle, make him shoot over the top of you, then box him out. And I said Jock did a really good. I don't know, Jock was really good offensively, but I looked at his defensive performance and I thought that was a big part of where we really broke the game open, because they couldn't keep the scoreboard ticking over, because that's normally Mika getting shots in there.
We could talk about just about every guy. I
Yep.
mean, every guy had a contribution here, but let's talk about Dane Pineau. 6 points, 6 rebounds, a difference maker once again defensively. I mean, and it goes beyond the 3 blocks and a steal he had tonight. It made life really tough on Yoli Childs, who had to work for everything, and also Eric Mika when he came over to help too.
Yeah, and that's, Dane's smart. He's obviously very intelligent off the floor, but he's a smart basketballer, and he was charged with the responsibility of guarding his man, but also giving help and being the guy that can sit in there and help and stunt and get back to your own man. And same thing, just don't give them the thing they want. Now, they'll probably score a couple the other way, but basketball is always a game of percentages. And if you play the percentages right and make them take the shots that you want them to take, chances are you're going to win games.
7 turnovers tonight. I think 2 of them were shot clock violations.
Yep.
So 3 team turnovers, 4 individual turnovers. But, kind of piggybacking off, I mean, you had Joe Rayon and Emmett Nahr combined for 17 points and 3 turnovers. Jordan Ford, how did you see him run the offense there down?
Yeah, really good. I mean, and it's an interesting situation for him, who's coming out of, obviously straight out of high school, where his elite speed has been the thing that's been able to get him not just buckets, but also assists and being able to carve through the lane. And in that situation, we didn't need him to be that. We needed him to be able to play slow, and then at the end of the clock, if he needed to create something, we always know he can do that. So it's a learning curve, and these are the opportunities, and it was good. I wouldn't say extended minutes, but he got 7 good minutes there at the end where he had to run a team, and you might say, okay, a 30-point lead's kind of easy to protect, but we were putting it on him to make sure that lead didn't shrink at all. And like last time when we played BYU up in Provo, that 25-point lead shrunk to 13. In a very similar situation where we put our guys and say, okay, you're in a situation where you can learn, you can get better, but in the end you want to win, and you want to win your part of the game too. And I thought Geordie did a really nice job of running the team. Got the ball reversed, got it back late in clock. Okay, now I can go. Tanner
Krebs, another guy whose confidence continues to rise. I mean, we know he can score. He did that tonight, but defensively I think is where you guys have been most impressed by him.
Yeah, and he made one blue early when he first went on, but that was more of it wasn't an individual thing. It was more like he missed an assignment on a team situation, on a set play. But once that was done, okay, I understand. I can move on from that, and that didn't let that affect his offensive game, which often happens with shooters. I mean, they'll be concerned about other parts of their game that they've been working hard on. When they aren't working or they're not coming off, then it affects their offense. But it certainly didn't affect his offense tonight.
So, move on to Gonzaga. Your third crack at them. I know you guys want that. I know you've been thinking about that. What's going to have to happen different this time? I mean, is it going to have to experiment with different lineups? Maybe is there something that your club can do better, whether it's execution or game or whatever, to come out on the other side this time?
No, I think in both games we've played them. We've played well for big patches of the game, and there's been a 3 or 4 minute burst. Often at the end of the first half, and I see teams, and that happened again tonight to Santa Clara, where Santa Clara played them tough for the last 3 minutes. I don't know whether Santa Clara panicked, whether they upped the ante or what, but that's what happened. They have an ability to just go up one cog and really crank up their defense and create their offense through their defense. And our big thing is going to be absorb those punches as they come. They usually come straight away. The first 3 minutes they're at you, and then at the end of the first half, and then a patch somewhere through middle of the second, and that's been where they've got at us. So I think if you broke the games down so far this year, you'd probably say for 75% of the game we've been right there with them, and then there's that one patch or two patches that. So again, it's just understanding momentum, getting the feel of what the flow of the game is, and knowing when it's coming, and when it comes, okay, now what do we do? What do we do with this? Okay, we know there's going to be a point where they'll just randomly trap one ball screen and have everyone up the line and try and pick the pass off and get a layup. And that's the thing that gets them going. Obviously, we've got to do a really good job on Karnowski, and I think Karnowski early, they'll go in there early. They did it again tonight. But that's going to be, just pick your poison. As shooters get run wild, or do you put it on the big fella to score? And I think Jock has, same with Mika, Jock has learnt now. And he'll be tested tomorrow, but I think he's learning as he goes, and I think he'll do a much better job on Karnowski tomorrow.
I know the foul trouble's been that's been the biggest story for
Yeah.
St. Mary's coming out of those 2 games, for you guys coming out of those 2 games. I mean, I couldn't even – how do you try to limit that? Because I think we know what Gonzaga is going to do early in the game. They're going to go right after Jock and try and get him out of the game.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's a two-edged sort of. One is obviously to hope that Jock fouls, or if he doesn't, then Karnowski's scoring. And so Karnowski's efficiency wanes as the game goes on. He scores early, and one, because they go to him early, and two, it's hard to lug 400 pounds around.
Yeah.
And if you've got to run up and down, you're going to chase out, and we'll put him in ball screens, and he's going to have to run in and out. And, what do you got left in your legs at the end? And that'll be where the game's probably going to be won or lost. Can we sustain that first punch from the interior, and if we do that without giving up threes? We're not going to overcommit to it because we don't want him throwing the ball back outside, and then Matthews and those guys get rolling.
Yeah. Well, 3 times you know each other like the back of your hand. Comes down to who executes the best.
That's that's going to be it. Who executes, and there's always going to be a touch of luck involved, but you make your own luck, and usually the person that works hardest is the luckiest.
Congratulations, Marty.
Okay.
A dominating win tonight, and be proud of this one. But we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, AJ.
Marty Clarke, brought to you by Shamrock Office Solutions, delivering digital copier and technology solutions to the Bay Area for over 15 years. Visit them online at shamrockoffice.com. As Dane Pineau is going to make his way over. He's our Crown Plaza Player of the Game. Dane Pineau, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks with a steal in 24 minutes. He also chipped in with an assist. All 3 of Dane's misses tonight, by the way. He was 3 of 6 from the floor. All 3 of his misses came from outside the arc. And Dane, again, difference-making defense as he sits down and he joins us now. What's your bad news, Dane?
They said we got to leave at 10:40, which is in 6 minutes.
All right, well, that means you're going to have to control yourself running your mouth too much.
Yeah, you're right. It's usually on me, these things.
I wish you would have tapped me on the shoulder and told me something when I was talking to Marty. I didn't
want to interrupt you. You're doing such a great job in the interview, Why?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought you were just on a roll. So.
All right. Well,
I didn't want to get in the way.
All right, well, let's get down to it. What worked tonight?
Oh, man. Jock was killing it tonight. He was he's unstoppable in there, and he was great. It's fun to watch him play. He's a great teammate, and he just plays so hard, and he's playing so well. So he was great to watch. They couldn't stop him. And our defense, the guards, did really, really good job on their guards on defense. It was a big difference maker. Emmett held Emery to 0. Not known for his defense, but he locked him up. He did a great job on him tonight, and that's tough to do. Emery's a player who can really get going, and Em held him in check. All the guards played a role in that, but yeah, it was great to watch. It made it they make it easy for us bigs when they work so hard on defense, and then Jock could finish it off on offense for us.
What was the game plan on Mika? Because he's been in double figures every game this year, and he had to work to get that 10 in the second half, and essentially garbage time. He was 5 of 13.
A lot of help from the guards again. But we had a plan going in. We know his kind of areas. We played this our 3rd time playing him. He's crushed us twice. So
he's crushed everybody.
Yeah, he's good. He's a really good player. But so we sort of picked up some tendencies and just try to make it tough for him when he was shooting it, because he's the way he plays, he's always going to get his shots off. But if we can make it as tough for him as possible, then I think the result's going to swing our way, and it did tonight.
Joe Rahan is just, the guy is tough as nails. But being a senior yourself, being a leader yourself, what's it like to have a fellow leader like Joe Rahan who, it doesn't matter. The guy's going to play through just about everything to give you everything he has. And it seems like there's a trickle-down effect there as well. Yeah,
Joe's a warrior. He's a great leader. Just like you said, he's so tough and so confident as well. And he's huge for us in his calmness and his composure, and it's a really steady influence for us out there. And he's always calm, and it's nice for us to sort of stay focused, and we're never really panicked or anything, because Joey's out there. Just look to him as kind of our leader, and he does a really good job with it. I think just being a vocal leader and being a calming influence on us.
Emmett Nar's playing at a really, really high level right now. It's really fun to watch. You could tell the guy's healthy. He's got kind of that burst of speed back, and The way he sees the floor and you dismantled BYU with the pick and roll tonight, and he tied a career high for the second night in a row with 11 assists.
11 assists. That's 22 in 2 games. He's doing well. He's he's great.
Don't let his head get too big now.
No, I know he never would. But he's so much fun to play with. I love when M's aggressive. He's that's when I think he's his best. And he came out, hit 2 threes early, and I was so pumped because I just knew that he was going to be attacking all night. And yeah, he's so smart with just his decision making and the way he attacks the defense. You know, he's not that athletic. He likes to think he's deceptively quick, and but he's just so smart, and he makes life really easy for us bigs when he's playing so well and distributing the ball so well.
Just 7 turnovers tonight. 2 of them were shot clock violations, I think. What was working for you offensively as a team?
Oh, what's up, Blake? How you doing?
Blake Huckabee.
God, he looks so sharp, doesn't he? Look at that jacket.
Is that a felt coat, by the way? What is that?
That is nice.
No, it looks great.
It's a great combination, too. I like the tie as well.
Velour, maybe? Velour, excuse me. Man, Velour. Wow, that's bad.
That's right.
On my part.
You say a lot of words.
I do. I did not that one very well, though. So, offensively, what was working tonight? What helped you limit the turnovers?
I think we just kind of played through our guys a lot, through Emmett and Joe, and did a really good job. We didn't try and force anything. How many points did we get? 81?
81?
That's right. Yeah, that's good. It's a good night for us.
Yeah. It is.
And, yeah, we played through our guys who are good with the ball. Like Jock had the ball a lot as well, which is always nice, and which is good. Always usually ends in good results for us. Because he makes good decisions, and he was finishing well around the rim. We just kind of played under control all night. It was good. We never were in a rush, and that really worked for us, I think.
Last one before I let you go catch the bus. What are you looking forward to about playing Gonzaga for the championship tomorrow? I know you guys desperately want to crack at those guys again for the 3rd time here. What are you looking forward to, and what's going to have to be different tomorrow if you had to pick a couple of main things for the result to be different?
We're so pumped to play tomorrow. It's we feel like we haven't given our A game yet, and none of us on the team have won here before. So it'd be a really cool thing for us to get it done. And I feel like the team is so close. It'd be great to be able to celebrate a win here as a team. And I think tomorrow, just got to go in there and stay composed and not let the moment get the better of us. I think last year they kind of jumped us, and so hope we can get in and throw the first punch and take care of business. It'd be unbelievable to get a win here. I really think we can do it.
Well, Dane, thanks for joining us. Best of luck tomorrow. Congratulations on the win. An incredible, the worst loss, by the way, in the Dave Rose era. I don't know if you knew that.
That's nice.
It's pretty cool, huh?
It's always good to put a beat down on them.
Why don't you read that line for me? Well, first we'll just say Dane Pineau, thanks for joining us. You're the Crown Plaza player of the game, and read this one right here.
Crown Plaza Concord, the hotel of choice for St. Mary's Athletics.
That was
exceptional.
That was average. Would you?
Blake loved it.
We'll call it exceptional. We'll call it well done, Dane. Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks very much, AJ. Appreciate it.
We're joined by the voice of Nevada Wolfpack, the Reno Aces, calling tomorrow's game on Westwood 1. It's Ryan Radtke. Brian, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Good to be here.
Well, so far, this game has been played at St. Mary's pace. The BYU obviously likes to get up and down. St. Mary's likes to slow it down. And they've really been executing in the half court, both offensively and defensively. It seems like every single shot BYU's taken has been contested.
Well, and that's the thing that's really jumped out to me about the first half is I think we all think about St. Mary's as a really good offensive team and a team that can really just grind you down in the half court, and they're so efficient at that end of the floor. But I've been really impressed by their defense because BYU is also a team that can hurt you offensively, and you said it. Every single shot BYU has been contested. For the most part, it's been one and done for the Cougars. So I think you really have to be impressed of not just one part of St. Mary's game, but really the overall game in the first half.
When you got a chance to see the Gales, the first game of the year, they're in McEwen Pavilion. How, if at all, has this team kind of evolved and changed what they're doing? Or really, are they using the same format? They've only lost 3 games here to the same team.
Yeah, honestly, to me, it looks like the same team that I saw back in November that I said at the time is going to be tough for anybody to beat. And it was interesting as the season went along and, the Gales lost a couple of games to Gonzaga, and you have people say, well, what's going on with St. Mary's? My answer is nothing's going on with St. Mary's. St. Mary's is really good. Gonzaga is just maybe one of the top 5 teams in the country, and they've been outstanding so far this year. I love this Gales team. I love the way they play. I think they play as a team. They have so many different guys that can hurt you. They're fundamentally sound. The thing that impressed me in that opening game that's impressed me again here tonight is they never seem to be in a panic. The shot clock's down to 6 or 7, and it looks like maybe they don't have anything going, and bang, bang, 2 passes, they get a wide-open shot. I love that, especially when you get down to March, when so many teams, the pressure gets on, maybe they get a little tight. It just seems like the Gales are always comfortable. They always know exactly what the other guy's going to do.
We pick up, back on the defensive end for St. Mary's, Eric Mika. He might be the best player in this conference, Brian, and he has 2 points on 1 of 5 shooting. And he's played 11 minutes because of some foul trouble, and Dave Rose likes to use that rotation. But it seems like the Gale, my thought was that they would just try and slow him down because you think that Eric Mika is going to get his and try and contain the 2 guards. But, knock on wood for the Gale, nothing so far for Mika.
Well, and with the injuries that BYU has, they either have to have Mika go off or they're just going to have a great 3-point shooting night. And with what the Gales have been able to do against Mika so far, and again, it's really just surrounding him, making everything tough, and then he goes to the bench with the fouls, and he hasn't been able to find any rhythm. That's great. If you're Randy Bennett and staff, you got to be sitting there thinking that's terrific because now you sit with a 16-point lead going into the second half, and you have to feel comfortable because you know, again, that you're able to run clock. You can keep this at your pace. It's going to take a heroic effort for BYU to try to come back and get into the championship game.
And the bigger picture for BYU, its team's just been devastated by injuries, and their bench has been shortened because of those injuries. When you lose L.J. Rose and you lose Kyle Davis, 2 guys who would normally be in this starting lineup, you go from bringing Yoli Childs and Elijah Bryant off the bench, and now you're bringing off guys like Davin Gwynn and Stephen Bayo and Corbin Kafusi. That's a big difference.
It really is, and I think you can see it that rotation for BYU has really shortened, and it's tough when you're not used to playing like that. It can be really difficult, especially when you get to this time of the year when maybe the legs are a little bit heavy in a tournament setting when you have to play game after game. They just don't have what they're used to, and obviously, Davis is a huge loss for them because he's a guy that adds another inside presence, another, more long arms in there that you have to deal with. And without him, it kind of leaves Meek on an island down there by himself. And St. Mary's has enough size with Landale and Pineau and even Fitzner down inside that they can make things difficult for you.
The winner of this game is going to get Gonzaga tomorrow night, and the Zags head off Santa Clara 77-68 ball game. I love the effort by Santa Clara. Jared Brownridge, it's been a pleasure watching him, who played in his last West Coast Conference game tonight. 32 points. He did take 25 shots, but 32 points for Jared Brownridge in 39 minutes. I know you mentioned you've seen him a couple times. What do you love about this kid? I love watching him compete.
He's just a scorer, and he finds ways to score, and he's never going to be shy. He can miss 4 or 5 shots in a row. He's going to take the next open shot. He just has that kind of mentality. He can shoot it. He can get to the rim. He's fearless. He's the kind of guy you love to have on your team and the kind of guy that you hate to defend. I'm with you. I was really impressed by the effort of Santa Clara tonight because there was a couple of times over the course of the game where Gonzaga got it out to 10 or 12 or 15, and it looked like, okay, this is where the Zags run away now, and they win by 25, and they cruise over the last 7 minutes, and they're nice and fresh going into tomorrow. Every single time, Santa Clara had a response, and they came back at Gonzaga, and even with 100 seconds left in the game, it was, a 6-7 point game at that point. Now, credit to Gonzaga. They made the shot. Zach Collins hit a dagger 3 with 1 on the shot clock from the top of the key. But up until then, Santa Clara had made Gonzaga nervous. And so if you're either one of these teams, St. Mary's or BYU, you have to be happy about that because the Zags have had so many of those games this year where they've just blown people off the floor. They cruise by 30. Maybe they get a night off for some of their guys. They didn't get that. So you hope now if you're St. Mary's, you can come out and extend on this lead in the second half. Maybe you can back off a little bit and try to get some fresh legs and get your third look at the Zags tomorrow night.
Well, Gonzaga was just up by 2 against Pacific at halftime in the quarterfinals. It took a 55-point effort from them in the second half to run away with that one. But what impresses you about Gonzaga so much? Obviously, the balance, the depth, the size, the guard play. They seemingly have it all.
Well, tonight was the first time that I've seen Gonzaga in person. I've seen them on TV a couple of times, but when you see them in person, I think you are really impressed by the size and the length that they have. They have the type of guys you expect to see on a Pac-12 team. The guys that are, 6'8", with the long arms, that are athletic, that can step out, that can shoot. Mark Few just has an amazing collection of talent. That's why they're probably going to be a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament next week, and well-deserved. 1 loss coming to BYU, and other than that, they've won, 13 games this year by 30 or more, another handful by 20 points. They've been dominant throughout the course of the season. So the size is what really impresses me. Nigel Williams-Goss is a great player. He's a finalist for the Wooden Award. You add in a terrific scorer. I think Jonathan Williams has given them another dynamic, and obviously having Karnowski back, just a huge body inside that just eats up so much space. Every time he's out there, you know he's out there because he's able to move guys around. He's able to catch the ball with deep position. And I know what coaches are going to say, hey, move him off the spot. How do you move that guy off his spot? He's a giant body. Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to do. So they're a really good team. They're one of the elite in the country. That doesn't mean they can't be beaten tomorrow night or in the NCAA tournament, but they're one of the best. It's a terrific team, and it's going to take somebody's A-plus effort to knock them off.
We'll start with this one. Regardless of the result tonight, is the West Coast Conference a multi-bid league?
Oh, I think definitely.
Okay.
I mean, without a doubt. I mean, obviously Gonzaga is going to be a 1 seed, and I mean, we were talking before the game. I thought St. Mary's absolutely got robbed last year not getting into the tournament. I mean, if St. Mary's didn't get in this year, somebody needs to start an investigation. I think St. Mary's is one of the best teams on the West Coast. I think they're without a doubt one of the top 20, 25 teams in the country. And I don't think they're going to be a team that a lot of people want to see in the bracket when those come out on Sunday.
St. Mary's reaches its ceiling. How far do you think they can go in March?
You know, I think for a team like St. Mary's, it probably has a lot to do with matchups. Yep. I think if St. Mary's draws one of those ultra-athletic teams that finished 6th in the ACC or something, that might be a problem for them because it's not their forte. But at the same time, I think they play so fundamentally sound, they can also make life difficult for opponents. And I think And having said, I think I saw this with Nevada to start the year. I think sometimes teams look at St. Mary's and underestimate them, no matter how much coaches throw records and stats in front of them, because you look out there and you say, they don't look quick, they don't look athletic, they don't look like they're going to do this. But then you figure out, you get out on the court and say, wow, these guys can play, and they can make life tough for you. So I think the Gales are one of those teams that could easily find themselves playing into the second weekend.
Is Gonzaga potentially a Final Four team?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. Yeah, there's no doubt. Now, they haven't been able to get there. That's the big hump that program has to get over, but I think they are. They have that kind of talent, in my opinion.
We'll finish it on this one. What does BYU need to do here in the second half to make this a game again?
Well, I mean, again, I think Mika's got to get going, and they got to knock down some threes. I mean, you know, BYU is a team that thrives on its offense. To shoot, you know, below 30% in the first half, they got to come out and catch fire. I don't know if they can the way St. Mary's is defending. Gales have to keep it up. Sometimes you have that big halftime lead. You can let down a little bit. That's what they have to avoid. But they keep defending. I think the Gales are going to be in a good spot and get that third shot against the Zags tomorrow night.
Anywhere the folks can follow you on social media or anything like that?
I am utterly against Twitter, so no. But thanks for trying to promote it. We're looking forward to being here tomorrow night, though. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Will you be on the call in the NCAA tournament working with Westwood One, or is that to be determined?
That's still to be determined, so we'll see.
Look for Ryan Radtke on Westwood One. Brian, thank you so much for the time, and good luck with the call tomorrow night.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.